Good evening, Mayor, City Council.
Excuse me, I called Philip Sevilla.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
There are gentlemen in the room, I think,
Okay, thank
including the council members. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. We're back. I was here a few weeks ago. Phil Sevilla, President of Texas Leadership Coalition. There is a growing sense of frustration and outrage over the expanding abortion centers spreading within the boundaries of our city, our fair city. We've been here before about the fast-tracking of Planned Parenthood's mega-abortion in District 8. Last week, we discovered that another large abortion center is getting ready to open also in District 8, around Nuremberg's district. Alamo Women's Reproductive Center will be aborting children up to 20 weeks, charging up to $1,100. We, the people of San Antonio, do not want our city to become the abortion capital, the abortion mecca of South Texas. We will not remain silent during this coming election cycle, watching our city leaders totally ignoring the lives and dignity of children in their mother's wombs. Please do not exclude babies in their mother's wombs from the social safety net the city leaders have a responsibility to maintain. We speak for those who cannot defend themselves, who have no voices. You all have a responsibility to maintain the lives and the dignity of these future citizens of our fair city. We speak for those who cannot defend themselves, who have no voices. Your compassion should include the yet-to-be born, who deserve our respect and compassion. We should not be aborting our future. Thank you.
Patrick Von Dolan.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. My name is Eli Danzy, taxpaying citizen of San Antonio and registered voter of District 10, Lake Valley. If I asked you to raise your hand in this room, if you came from a faith-based, Christian, San Antonio home, hard-working parents who believed in doing the right thing, I think most of us in this room would raise our hands. I see many in this room have gone to Ash Wednesday Mass and Catholic Mass, and God bless them for that in their faith. As did I. This still holds true in the great city of San Antonio, as many of you know. However, I hold in my hand a list of over 20 small, minority, women-owned, hub-owned, veteran-owned contractors, some of which may be LGBT, right here in San Antonio and Central Texas, have been deceived by abortion bill Planned Parenthood of South Texas. So not only have residents of Dream Hill Estates and nearby businesses been deceived by their lies and deceit, but your very own contractors and businesses who you represent or entrust you and vote for you to uphold the laws and codes have been made vulnerable to the immoral, illegal practices of the largest and most profitable national abortion business in this country. I'm going to read to you some of the names who many of you may realize, especially you, Mr. Cryer, at the San Antonio Chamber. Lou Johnson, owned by Eric Munchnick, who is a Jewish man. Mesquite Interiors, owned by Gary Wilhelm. Bear Waste, owned by Henry Miguel Gutierrez. Linden Plumbing, owned by Barry Linden. Enterprise Fire and Safety. F.A. McComas Painting, owned by Fred and Teresa McComas. Arias and Associates, owned by Robert Arias. Dodd Electric, owned by James Dodd, a veteran, a Marine. Drash Contracting, owned by Joe Drash. Each and every one of these names have been deceived by Planned Parenthood of South Texas. Each and every one of them are small, minority, hub-owned, veteran-owned, and some of which may be LGBT. Now, I also hold in my hand emails from each of these contractors showing the deceit. Dear Mr. Danzy, please note that we awarded this contractor underground of Planned Parenthood is one of the police in this building. If we were known that this was well into the project, we figured out that this was an abortion facility. Unfortunately, we are substantially complete. Had we known in the beginning, we'd explore legal options to remove ourselves from the project. I am Christian and have struggled with this since early when we learned about Planned Parenthood moving into the building. Again, from Ingram Ready Mix, we are a Christian family owned. We do not wish to participate in the construction of this facility. We have notified our customer we will not deliver any more material. We are a Christian business and we uphold the work that we do based on Christian principles. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dan. Patrick Von Dolan, followed by Danny Petrie. Mr. Von Dolan, Danny Petrie, Michael Nufke. No. Is this? That's one. Mr.
Just wait for them to hand it out.
Okay, you can go ahead and start your presentation. The handouts will be handed
I
out.
need this also on the screen. My name is Mike Konofsky, and I'm here to talk about 2140 Babcock. You've already heard about this. I stood up here talking about it for the last couple of months. Citizens to be heard, I understand that. I just don't know if we are heard. We've asked,
Please, you're eating into his time. Please allow him to make his statement.
we've asked that zoning be applied to this particular facility, and time and time again, we're not getting anywhere. You know, it's a good old boy network. I think I pointed that out last time, that there were money that was given from the board members of Planned Parenthood and the top 50 donors. And we went to the website for the campaign contribution for many of you here, and we saw almost $100,000 that was funneled. That's not illegal, I understand that. But it does answer why there might be a blind eye. You see, there is a good old boy network taking place, but in the old day, the good old boy network was a tall, fat, Anglo-Saxon dinosaur like me, although I'm not tall. I'm better looking. And a 10-gallon can. Today's good old boy network is different. I never thought I'd see the day where a white Anglo-Saxon like me was trying to save the blacks and the browns in a city like this. You see, in San Antonio, we have 60% Hispanic population, yet 71%, as you can see here, of Planned Parenthood services are aimed at Latinos. What a tragic situation. It seems that we care oftentimes more about sports and rules in sports and things of this nature. I'm thinking of the Super Bowl and all the rules. Yet we can't even get the city. We honestly cannot get the city to take a look at the zoning of this particular facility. So I stand here and really try to scratch my head trying to figure this out. So what I did this time is I went to the zoning site, and as you can read there, we have ourselves C1, C2, C3. C1 is a district to accommodate neighborhood commercial. Now, Planned Parenthood, in their own words, has said this is their regional flagship facility for Central and South Texas. That is not a neighborhood commercial use. This is their flagship. Jack.
Please continue.
Thank you, Jack. And if you go a little bit further, you can see here that the building size is limited, absolutely limited. I don't know if you hope you're following along. The building size is limited to 5,000 square feet. Right here to the left, you can see the representation of the building, 22,000 square feet, and yet it is allowed to be built out at 22,000 square feet. You see, the people in Dream Hill Estates, they're not getting any justice. No one's listening to them. And that's what's sad about this situation. They don't want it in their neighborhood. And all we're asking the city to do, we're asking you to do, is to apply the zoning code to this facility. That's all we're asking you to do. If you go on a little bit further, we see C2 is commercial district, and it's an unlimited building size. I think I mentioned last time, every single ASC, that's ambulatory surgery center in San Antonio, with the exception of one, is C3 or C2. Are we really putting on paper a zoning, and then we're going to break those zoning laws and set new precedents? You know, that's not what zoning is all about. All we're asking is to get some justice here. C3, you can read there, is a general commercial district, and it is in intensive commercial use for those located within the CN, C1, C2, and it goes on to other things. The point is that this is citizens to be heard. And I understand you're listening, but I'm not so certain anybody's being heard when it comes to 2140 Babcock. You know, today is indeed Ash Wednesday, and I do see around many of you, and that's a fabulous thing, and I applaud you. You know, we have to answer to God before we answer to ourselves. And this particular facility is killing babies, period. That's what's going on. They have other facilities to distribute contraception and do all those kinds of things. But this particular facility has 2 operating rooms, and that's their flagship organization. We ask you to apply the zoning that's already in place in the city to this facility. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelke. Rosario's our cousin. Rosario's our cousin, followed by Lenore Ramirez.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to come and speak. First, I want to thank God for the privilege to speak in the matter of opposing the abortion clinic being built in the medical center area. And I pray that the words that proceed from my mouth fall upon your spirit. Well, my name is Unborn, and like I said, I'm here to oppose the abortion clinic that is being built in the medical center area, or any of them for that matter, whether being built, exist, or even being thought of. I attend a church, I don't know if I can, Faith Outreach Center International, where we're starting a group to help women, whether they're thinking of having an abortion or have had one. I can speak from personal experience, because I had an abortion at the age of 40. This is a baby at 8 weeks, which is about the time that I had mom. The abortion clinic told me that it was a clog of nothing, that it was a mass, that it wasn't even a baby. That's a baby. It has a head, 2 arms, 2 legs. Everyone I spoke to, when I was trying to make the decision of whether or not to have it, they all told me the same thing, whether it was family or friends, the abortion clinic, that it was my choice. I could do whatever, that it was a decision that I had to make, considering my home economic state, the circumstances I had, family or home situation. And besides, it's your body, your right, so you can do whatever you want to do. No one ever tells you it's wrong. Here's some scripture. They never handed me anything. Psalms 139, 13 through 16, or Jeremiah 1:5. They tell us, the scripture tells us that God knew us before we were formed, and that He formed us. He formed us in our mother's womb. It doesn't breathe. You're just a clot or a glob, or just a mass of cells. 98% of women that walk into an abortion clinic and decide to have an abortion walk out without a baby. 98%. That leaves only 2% to walk out or make that right choice of not having one.
Thank you, Ms. Ramirez. I'm sorry, what, Don Scott? Okay, all right, please continue, Ms. Ramirez.
They also don't tell you or give you papers. They give you all the paperwork of telling you, okay, this is how you take care of your body and so forth, but they don't tell you, here's a list of things that you're going to be going through, like guilt, endless nights of crying yourself to sleep, the mourning of your baby that weighs like a ton of bricks in your home, the anxiety that intensifies. Excuse me. Because you'll never see or smell or hold your baby. Not to mention the first steps or the first words or the first time that they recognize you or your voice when you walk into a room and they get so excited. They don't tell you that when you see another pregnant woman or a newborn baby that would be around the same time or the same age as yours would have been born, that you just die inside. Even worse, if someone you know was pregnant at the same time that you were, and you're always around them, you're watching their baby grow up before you, not yours. Not to mention the depression, the suicidal thoughts, the flashbacks of the abortion playing over and over in your mind. Wanting to replace that baby, trying to get pregnant again to make it right or make up for what you did, or make time go backwards. But you have to try it. I've tried that. It doesn't work. Not to mention the fathers, including the baby's fathers. They may be going through the same thing, but they may be too proud to admit it. And this, I speak to the women that are thinking about it. Do your research. Find out all the facts before you make a decision that you will live with for the rest of your life. And if you don't see Christ, you will take it to your grave. You'll take it to your eternal life, and you'll have to answer to God for that. Regardless of what anyone says, it is murder. We're just given permission to do it out in the open and with all our rights, the rights our political parties gave us, disregarding God's morals and principles. This new facility is going to cost $5 million to build. My husband's going to give me my time. It's going to cost $5 million to build. They've already raised $3.5 million. I know they could think of a better way to use that money. There's plenty of homeless people, hungry, unemployed, unless that is their solution for stopping that. If their solution for stopping that is kill them before they become them, which in reference I'm talking about the babies, kill those babies before they become the homeless, the unemployed, the hungry, their problem. Kill them before they become them. Because that is what Margaret Sanger had in mind. That was her mindset when she founded Planned Parenthood. I did my research. I haven't done it extensively, but I did do some research. And I know that these things that I have said are facts because I live it every single day. I don't think we should kill any more babies. Like the gentleman said earlier, they are our future. Regardless of whether somebody wants them or not, they are our future. And I don't know if my sister would like to say anything since we have a little bit of time.
If this impacts just one person, it's worth it. It's worth it. The picture that you saw on the screen, it's horrible to look at, but it's reality, and sometimes you have to really see what it is before you know what it is. The word abortion is just a word until you actually see what it is. And Lenore shared that with us. And if you know anybody that's considering this, I'm sure that everybody knows somebody who's had an abortion or is thinking about that. Please let them do their research.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Walker.
A couple of years ago, a neighbor of mine wanted to put up an 8-foot fence in the front yard in violation of the city code. Neighbors in the area received a notification by mail stating the situation, and then they invited comment. Comments were against the fence, and the zoning process protected our values. The fence did not go up. Lax zoning laws can do harm to property values. As a real estate broker, I can tell you that a house next to a funeral home or cemetery has diminished value. At Green Mill Estates in District 8, the city is allowing an abortion facility to open in violation of current zoning laws without any input from the people who live in the community? Why would the city allow an ambulatory surgical center in a zoning that does not allow it? The answer is found in the list of campaign contributions to the city council. Mr. Nuremberg and other council members have received multiple thousands of dollars from Planned Parenthood supporters. No one with the city has come to the aid of Dream Hill Estates, but has instead stifled their voice. This is wrong. I encourage the council and you, Mayor, to protect the rights of the citizens and not violate your own zoning laws. How can citizens trust government with this type of action? I'm sure for Mr. Cryer, the past 25 years have gone by very quickly, as they have for me. In the case of the city's agreement with the police, the long-term consequences were not considered. And now, when it comes time to pay the piper can't be paid. The consequences of allowing an abortion facility to open in violation of zoning laws may not come for each of you for a number of years, but rest assured they will come in this life or in the next one to come. Do the right thing for Dream Hill Estates, for the unborn children, and for your own soul. When it comes time to pay the piper, the consequences of your actions may not be laughable.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pope. Elliot Reese, followed by Sylvia Villarreal and Thomas.
First of all, I want to give these to you, to each and every one. Disgracefully, I have 3 national news publications that put San Antonio disgracefully on the map. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm a resident of District 9, and again, I'm coming here. I've been coming to citizens to be heard for months now, to voice my concerns about the expansion of Planned Parenthood at 2140 Babcock. My concerns have not been acknowledged, as it is so evident in your turning a blind eye to the blatant zoning irregularities of 2140 Babcock. It appears that a mentality of abortion tourism is among you, and this is very alarming. Especially, I speak to you, Mr. Nuremberg. And your involvement in the allowance of Planned Parenthood to conduct the business of abortion will convict you of malice in your civic duties. Because this building at 2140 Babcock is not zoned for the business of abortion that it will be conducting there. The killing of the most vulnerable citizens of this city, the unborn. No, statistics show the highest percentage of Hispanic and Black babies are being eliminated by Planned Parenthood practices. This is true. Do your homework. Think, this is a genocide. This is a genocide. Listen to your conscience. Use your authority by putting an end to this Holocaust right here in San Antonio. Many more citizens will be evaluating your decisions more closely very soon. In this election season, remember those who helped you get here. And I'm not referring to the $200,000 that Planned Parenthood donated to many of your campaigns. I'm speaking on behalf of the hard-working, faithful citizens and business owners of the city of San Antonio who voted for you in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, Flores Perez, followed by Regina Gonzalez and